Well, hello, everybody. This is the African Actions Network. I am James Jensen. I'm sitting here this morning. And of course, this is Inside Liberia. Well, Inside Liberia this morning, we going to hear from one of our correspondents, very likely Abraham Colley. He might give us an update from what is going on in Liberia. But primarily, we are concerned about what is going on in West Africa. And specifically, we want to cross our eyes on Niger. Niger's president, Mohamed Bazoum, is being arrested by the military in that country, African country. And the coup leader, General Tajini, he's in fact, the military has appointed him as the military leader of that country. On the other hand, we have ECOWAS. ECOWAS has given the military 7 days to release the Niger president. Now, there are a series of questions that come out in our minds as reasonable people. The coup is being condemned widely. America has condemned the coup. Great Britain has condemned the coup. ECOWAS has condemned the coup, and many other persons. But what is important for us to discuss is can military intervention at this time save the president who is in the hands of the military coup leaders? Can ECOWAS using military force save lives and property in that country? Now, I'm speaking like this because I'm being reminded of what took place in Liberia during its civil war. Many ECOWAS military personnel died in that country. And Liberians died in the numbers. So the question we asked this morning, can military intervention, military force help Niger? I don't know your take, but we're going to go into these discussions and try to make some predictions and see what will happen if military force is applied. Okay, so that is the crux of our discussion this morning. So we do not know what will happen, to help that country. Okay, but before then, let's see whether we can have some idea as to what is happening in that country, right? It's not easy for a coup so far. There is nothing like bloodshed, but it could get nasty, it could get worse. So we keep our eyes on the situation, right? It's never a good thing to see a country going through war. Let's take a listen.
Democratic country, we support democracy, and we don't need this kind of movement like this.
Now you can see what is happening, right? So Niger could be under a very serious situation, assuming that there will be a military intervention, a military force to abort what the coup plotters have done. This country will turn into some mess because what is happening from all information is like we are hearing that Wagner, that is widely believed to be supported by Russia, has some link with these forces. Now, we do not know what is happening there. And the military themselves, it is like, I mean, it's a very tough decision for even ECOWAS or SOF to go in there with a military force. Because Mali had a coup, now it's Chad, you had coup in Guinea. So with all of these interventions, we only will wonder what will going to happen next. As we see these discussions going on with. Okay.
I spoke with President Bazoum earlier this morning and made clear that the United States resolutely supports him. We condemn any effort to seize power by force.
Okay, so
hey Philly, experience a different kind of.
We see exactly what is going on, and
you can find Rocky Steps at Great Falls Park.
We cannot sit and think it's going to be a peaceful ride for any military takeover in that country. It's not going to be easy. And the military people, they might have their strategy as to what's going to happen, but we look at it from our own end, from our own experience as we went through our civil war in Liberia at the time. There were many deaths. There were destruction of properties. People even up to this time, there's still effects on the life of people in Liberia. So military force to undo this coup is something that we all sit to listen and see what's going to happen. Right? Nobody is not a democratic means for a military to take power in the country. But the way the situation stands, the president of Niger is not being harmed. He's in the hands of the military. Can they turn over to ECOWAS? Can they say, okay, we understand, we'll go back in the barracks and allow this man to rule the country? Can it be? Obviously, the military is the arm of the government. They provide security. But as it stands, the military has suspended the constitution and all other institutions within that country. So it's a situation that everybody keep watching to know what's going to happen next. ECOWAS 7 days starts to run. From what we have been following, the president of Chad was in Niger yesterday, and he met with the president of the current president that is now being in detention, I would say, or in the hands of the military, and he also met with the military leaders. So there's a lot of discussion going on, and ECOWAS also, we do not know how to approach. They had an emergency meeting, and then they have decided to give the military 7 days to go back in the barracks and allowed the president of Niger to continue governance. So these photos from the Guardian newspaper, but we the Guardian, okay, but we believe that despite all the smart, this photo is a current photo when when the president of Chad visited the military on yesterday. All right, and he also met with the military leader. Uh, Tijani has been appointed by his colleagues, meaning the military guys, for him to be head of state. So he's like the head of state of Niger. Um, I don't know whether it's even appropriate to call him head of state because this coup has been widely condemned by the international community. So we do not know how this is going to interplay. So in short, that's what I can say. All right. So it's a situation we keep following and see how it's going to how it's going to work. But it's a very serious situation for the people of Niger and even the coup leader, because if the president is allowed to take is allowed to continue his leadership, what is he going to do to the military? Is he going to allow the military to continue to serve in their respective position? I do not think that's going to be very easy. Is he going to punish these military guys, especially the leadership of or the coup plotters? Is he going to allow them to? This guy is a presidential guard. He's never going to be trusted, and probably he could be arrested. All right, except if it's a peace deal, and I don't know how that would play in. Then probably so, you know why? Probably just let him go. But even if they say, well, they never go back to civilian life, I'm not sure whether the Niger president will really, allow him to be in that country while he's serving the rest of time of his presidency. Another thing that probably will happen too is this coup has demoralized the president to a larger extent. Why it is true that democracy is allowed to function. This is a real serious situation. Whatever way you think about it, there is ECOWAS comprises of some other coup leaders. Like I said, you have Guinea. So ECOWAS did not set the precedent when the coup took place in Guinea, Mali, I think Burkina Faso. So all of these forces are all around there. I wonder they all participated in yesterday's discussion, to come up with a decision. So ECOWAS and Africa must be more serious about the continent and the region that they found themselves, because a lot is going on in the world today. And I'm afraid that military intervention may just be more complicated some way, somehow, because these people, to get at them, there will be a lot of bloodshed. And we don't know how long that will last. I'm not sure whether that can just be a one-day event. The ordinary people going to suffer. So there must be a careful approach towards this situation. I don't know the rest, the remaining time for President Bazoum. Whether it's possible to call for an elections, or I don't mean I have no answer. I mean, it's like a very tough situation, difficult to assume what's going to happen. Indeed, it's true. ECOWAS has a bigger military than Niger. But just think about what is going on in Africa. There's a lot of terrorist groups that is now terrorizing Africa. And we can only hope that the solution that will be found must be to look at the general interest of the civilians, the armless people of Niger. How are we going to play in? If they're going to get the coup leaders out, can that be done to make sure that even if civilian casualties will be, but it will be to the bare minimum, and that this will not be a crisis that would take toll on the people of Niger? And that's all we can say, because the kind of situation, the ordinary people are the one who are going to die. So we cannot believe that this is going to be an easy ride for any military intervention. Because whatever these guys, by the time you talk about military intervention, they themselves, they are military forces. So whatever they're going to do, they're going to fight on continuously, or retreat to the bushes and start, a real serious war. Under circumstances, it's going to be all about bloodshed. And we do not hope that will be the situation. So far, the coup has not resulted into bloodbath. And so these interventions, we hope that if the military leaders have major demands, I think they should listen to them too and see if it is the will of the people that they be removed and allowed President Bazoum to continue his leadership. That should be done in a way that, will not involve bloodshed. That's what we can talk about this morning. That's our say into these situation. Okay. As I said, we do not have much to talk about Liberia this morning. Liberia, we all know that there is election ongoing, and that there's a lot more to talk about. Okay. So we wanted Abraham. I think Abraham is trying to come up. Let's see whether he can come and give us an update of what is going on in Liberia. But as far as Mali is concerned, not Mali. Abraham, how are you? Hello, Abraham, are you there? Abraham, how are you? Okay, it seems to be Abraham is his internet is giving him some problem. Okay, but he should have come back and give us some update on what is actually happening in Liberia. Abraham, are you there? Okay, so we cannot pretend about what is going on in Africa and the world at large. There's so much going on in the world, so much going on in the world. So whenever we hear about conflict, we think about the people, the ordinary people, who some of whom do not have the bare minimum to eat for a day. So think about crisis. That's something to think about very seriously. There's war in Ukraine. There is war in. I heard about Pakistan last night. Okay, the Pakistani. These are crises all over the world. I think hundreds of persons got killed and many more got wounded as a result of a bomb. Some suicidal who got in the midst of a rally. So with all of these crises around the world, we don't know how the world is going about today. And sometimes you think about it, you say, well, the war is actually getting closer with a lot of conflict, and the worst could still happen. You look at the other issues, climate issues, there is a whole lot of threats. We hear about volcanoes, we hear about, the rising oceans and all of those stuff. So there's much. So sometimes we wonder about what is happening to mankind today. But the best we can say is when you have a day to survive, to see yourself alive, always tell yourself, God, give prayers, and then you see what more you can do to keep the day going. Abraham, are you there? Hello? Hello, Abraham? Well, we thought we could give Abraham some time. I think we can get him. So, Abraham, if we can get to, we cannot continue with we just took primarily to give an update on what was happening in Niger. because the coup plotters are there, and ECOWAS is threatening to have a military force, an intervention force, I would say. And these are the kind of situation we have right now. So we cannot say much, and we'll keep our eyes on Niger and other part of Africa. Okay, so that's what we have for you this morning. We hope that ECOWAS intervention will bring about the needed, solution to the people of that country. We see the both men are smiling, so I mean the president is still in good hands. He's in the hands of his military. I'm sure they're having some good conversation, except that military people sometimes these smiles are not very genuine. People laugh, but it could just be a very serious situation that they all are faced with. So the international community, I'm sure they have a better strategy, a better approach towards how to resolve this. But it's not going to be an easy thing. And so we just keep our eyes on them and follow what is going on in that West African country. Okay, and so until then, this is how we thought to do it this morning, to talk a little bit about what is happening in Niger. So with that being said, thank you for watching, those of you who've been watching. And share the video and make a comment. We will be glad to hear from you and also know your thoughts on what is happening in Niger. Do you think that military force is the best option to get the coup plotters, the military out of power? Because as ECHO was deciding, as I said, they have already named Tijani as the head of state. So you have the head of state and you have the president who is said to have been overthrown. But he's still alive, he's in the hands of the military. So in a military intervention, what's going to happen to this man? Can it be possible that ECOWAS can, rescue this president? It's a situation. So give it a take. We'll be glad to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and have a pleasant and a wonderful day.